Did you know a 73-year-old man died peacefully in his sleep last night, and his family still has no idea why? He seemed perfectly fine just hours before. No complaints, no signs anything was wrong. It was a normal evening, nothing unusual about it at all. But when morning came, he was gone. And the scariest part is, his story isn't unique. If you're over 70, the truth is, your bedtime routine might quietly be putting you at serious risk without you even knowing it. Now I get it. No one likes thinking about these things. We prefer to believe our bodies will just keep running like reliable old cars. Maybe they sputter a bit, but they'll always start again tomorrow. But as you age, the little bedtime habits you never thought twice about could suddenly make all the difference between waking up refreshed or not waking up at all. Today I'm going to share 5 bedtime habits that seniors need to avoid. Now, these aren't dramatic lifestyle changes or complicated medical advice, just simple adjustments that could literally save your life. By making these changes, you won't just sleep better, you'll dramatically reduce your risk of strokes, heart issues, and other serious health problems that sneak up on you in the night. And look, I know what you're thinking. I've been doing these things forever. Why change now? Well, because your body isn't the same as it was decades ago. Your metabolism is different. Your heart works harder, and your sleep is more fragile than ever. Ignoring these subtle changes could be the biggest mistake you'll ever make. Stick around until the end, because the last habit on this list is something most seniors unknowingly do every night. And it could be silently hurting you in ways you've never imagined. Before we dive in, if you've ever worried about your health at night, or wondered if your bedtime habits might be putting you in danger, do me a quick favor. Leave a simple yes in the comments right now. It lets me know you're with me, and together we can make sure your golden years stay safe, healthy, and worry-free. All right, let's get into it. The first habit we're going to talk about is something that feels perfectly harmless until it's suddenly not. I'm talking about eating heavy meals too late at night. Now, I love a good late-night snack as much as the next person. There was a time when I could devour half a pizza at midnight, head straight to bed, and wake up feeling great. But those days, unfortunately, are long gone. And if you're over 70, they're probably gone for you too. Here's the thing. As we age, our digestive systems slow down significantly. Your stomach doesn't break down food like it did in your younger years. And a big hearty meal before bedtime can become a recipe for disaster. Think heartburn, indigestion, disrupted sleep, and even more serious issues like heart complications. I remember my friend Frank, a 75-year-old who absolutely refused to give up his nightly routine. He loved his late-night feasts. I'm talking burgers, fries, pizza, you name it. Frank's logic was, I've eaten like this my whole life. Why stop now? But soon enough, he found out exactly why. Frank began waking up at night with chest discomfort and shortness of breath. At first, he blamed it on just getting older, but the truth was much scarier. His doctor told him that those big, late-night meals were causing his stomach acid to rise and his blood pressure to spike, both dangerous for his heart. It turns out when you eat late at night, your body can't fully relax. Instead of drifting into a deep, restorative sleep, your system is busy digesting, producing stomach acid, and pumping blood faster. Over time, this constant stress on your heart can lead to serious issues like increased risk of stroke or heart attack. Plus, poor sleep means waking up tired, groggy, and feeling older than you actually are. So what's the solution? It's simple but incredibly effective. Try finishing dinner at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. This gives your body enough time to digest comfortably. Now, if you absolutely must snack before bed, and trust me, I get it, those cravings can be stubborn, stick with something small and gentle on your stomach. A handful of nuts, a banana, or maybe some yogurt. These lighter options are less likely to disrupt your sleep or harm your heart. Frank took this advice and, believe me, the change was dramatic. His sleep improved, his energy levels soared, and most importantly, his heart was finally able to rest at night. He told me later he never realized how much harm he was doing with just a simple habit. So tonight, do yourself a favor, skip that late-night pizza. Your heart, sleep, and energy tomorrow morning will thank you for it. Now let's move on to the next sneaky habit that's quietly affecting your health after 70. Habit number 2 is something almost nobody thinks about until they're lying awake at night, sweating and tossing around, wondering why sleep feels impossible. I'm talking about sleeping in a room that's too warm. Now this one hits close to home because my thermostat and I have been in a lifelong battle. I love feeling cozy, but as I've gotten older, I've realized cozy can quickly turn into overheated, and that's when things get dangerous. Here's the issue. As we age, our bodies lose some of their natural ability to regulate temperature. Your internal thermostat doesn't adjust as quickly or effectively, which means even a slightly warm room can turn your night into a sweaty, uncomfortable mess. But beyond just being uncomfortable, sleeping in a hot environment puts unexpected stress on your heart, raises your blood pressure, and robs you of the deep, restful sleep your body desperately needs. Let me tell you about Linda, a lovely woman I know who just turned 72. Linda always kept her bedroom nice and toasty. She'd pile on thick blankets, crank the heat up, and wrap herself in heavy flannel pajamas, convinced this was the best way to ensure a good night's rest. Instead, Linda would often wake up throughout the night drenched in sweat, her heart pounding, feeling oddly restless and anxious. At first, she blamed it on aging or anxiety, but the real issue was staring her right in the face. Her doctor explained that her overheated bedroom was actually forcing her heart to work overtime, pumping harder to cool her down. Over time, this constant strain can seriously increase the risk of cardiovascular problems. Linda never imagined her cozy bedroom setup could silently put her health at risk. So, what's the magic number for ideal sleep? Experts recommend keeping your bedroom temperature somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. I know, it sounds chilly, but trust me, your body actually prefers a cooler environment at night. It helps your internal temperature drop naturally, encouraging deeper, more restorative sleep and keeping unnecessary stress off your heart. You can make this easier by swapping heavy blankets for lighter, breathable bedding, like cotton sheets or moisture-wicking fabrics. A small fan or even cracking a window for fresh air can also work wonders. These simple adjustments aren't just about comfort. They directly improve your cardiovascular health, enhance sleep quality, and help you wake up refreshed, energized, and ready to tackle another day. Linda finally gave in and adjusted her bedroom temperature. She swapped her flannel pajamas for something lighter, ditched the thick comforters, and tried sleeping in a cooler room. The difference, she told me, was night and day. She stopped waking up overheated, her anxiety decreased, and her heart was finally able to rest comfortably through the night. Habit number 3 is another one of those nighttime rituals most of us overlook because it seems small and harmless. I'm talking about oral hygiene, or more specifically, neglecting your teeth before bedtime. You might think skipping a night of brushing is no big deal. I mean, who's keeping score at this age, right? But it turns out those few minutes you save by not brushing and flossing might cost you more than you bargained for, especially when it comes to your heart. Now, I never thought twice about brushing at night until a dentist friend of mine explained how closely oral health is connected to heart health. Believe it or not, neglecting your teeth can quietly set the stage for serious cardiovascular issues. Here's how it works. When you skip brushing and flossing, bacteria builds up quickly in your mouth, causing gum inflammation and infection. This inflammation doesn't just stay put in your gums. It enters your bloodstream, spreading silently throughout your body and causing trouble where you least expect it. Your heart. Let me tell you about Joe, a friend who just turned 77 and had a habit of occasionally skipping his nighttime brushing routine. Joe would shrug it off, thinking, "Who cares? They're just teeth." But after a while, Joe began experiencing odd symptoms: shortness of breath, mild chest discomfort, and fatigue. Initially, he thought it was just age catching up with him, but after a checkup, his doctor delivered surprising news. His oral health was contributing directly to his heart problems. It turns out that Joe's neglected gums had been silently inflamed for years, releasing harmful bacteria into his bloodstream and aggravating his arteries, increasing his risk of heart disease. Joe was shocked. He never imagined a skipped toothbrush session could have consequences for his heart. So how can you avoid Joe's situation? It's simple. Brush and floss every night without exception. These 2 minutes can significantly lower inflammation, protect your gums, and ultimately safeguard your heart. Consider using a gentle antibacterial mouthwash as well. It's a small step that makes a big difference by controlling bacteria overnight. And don't forget those regular dental checkups. They're not just for keeping a nice smile, they're a key part of your overall health strategy as you get older. By maintaining good oral hygiene every single night, you'll not only reduce your risk of gum disease and tooth loss, but you'll also directly lower inflammation in your body, improving heart health and helping you sleep more soundly. You'll wake up feeling healthier, more energetic, and ready to enjoy your day without the subtle worry of hidden health risks. Now, before we continue, if you're finding these tips helpful and plan to make a change, comment "Yes" right now. Your feedback means a lot and helps us keep these insights coming your way. With that said, let's move on to habit number 4. This is something you might not even realize you're doing, and it involves taking certain medications or supplements too close to bedtime. As we age, medications become a bigger part of our daily routines, and sometimes it feels like we're juggling a pharmacy in our own bathrooms. But timing matters more than most people realize, especially after 70. See, what happens is, as our bodies age, our reactions to medication change drastically. Something you might have tolerated well in your 50s or 60s could suddenly cause dizziness, blood pressure fluctuations, or worse, nighttime falls. A pill that seems harmless in the afternoon could become hazardous if taken too late in the evening. Take Margaret, for example. At 74, Margaret had been managing her medications just fine for years, or at least she thought she had. She'd gotten into the habit of taking all her medications right before bed, thinking it would be easier to remember them that way. But she started experiencing episodes of sudden dizziness when getting up at night, even just to use the bathroom. One night she stood up too quickly, became dizzy, and nearly had a serious fall. Thankfully, she caught herself on the edge of the dresser, but it was enough of a scare for her to mention it to her doctor. After a brief discussion, Margaret learned something important. One of her blood pressure medications, combined with a sleep aid she occasionally used, was causing her blood pressure to drop too much at night. This was the reason she was experiencing dizziness and balance issues. Just moving these medications a few hours earlier in the evening dramatically reduced her symptoms and her risk of a dangerous fall. So how can you avoid a situation like Margaret's? First, always discuss medication timing with your doctor or pharmacist. They know how each medication interacts with your body and when it's safest to take it. Generally speaking, blood pressure medications, diuretics, also known as water pills, certain pain relievers, and even some supplements like magnesium can all affect blood pressure and balance, making them riskier to take just before bedtime. Ideally, aim to take these medications at least 2 to 3 hours before bed, giving your body plenty of time to adjust. If you're unsure about your medication schedule, take the initiative and bring it up at your next doctor's visit. You might be surprised at how a small adjustment can make your night safer and more restful. The benefit of this simple change is significant. You'll drastically lower your risk of nighttime falls, dizziness, or sudden blood pressure changes. Not only will this improve your sleep quality, but it can literally keep you safer in your own home, ensuring that nighttime emergencies remain a thing of the past. Now let's move on to habit number 5. A nighttime mistake that's so common you might not even realize you're doing it, but it's putting unnecessary strain on your heart. Habit number 5 is something that might sound familiar to you: going to bed stressed, anxious, or upset. It's one of those habits that's easy to overlook, especially when life gets complicated, and at our age, there's certainly enough to be worried about. Whether it's health concerns, family conflicts, or simply the stress of aging, it's easy to carry those anxieties to bed without even realizing the toll it's taking. You see, when you climb into bed with a mind filled with worries or after a tense conversation, you're inviting trouble in more ways than one. Your body reacts to stress by releasing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones elevate your heart rate, raise blood pressure, and even disrupt the natural rhythm of your heartbeat, exactly the opposite of what your body needs when it's trying to wind down for the night. Let me share a quick story from my own life to illustrate this. A few years back, I got into a silly disagreement with one of my kids. I can't even remember exactly what it was about. Probably something trivial like holiday plans or who was hosting the next family gathering. But the argument got under my skin, and instead of resolving it calmly, I let my pride take over. I went to bed that night replaying the conversation in my mind, frustrated and upset. As you might expect, sleep did not come easily. I tossed and turned, my mind racing with the things I should have said or wished I hadn't said. My heart was pounding, and I felt tense. Eventually, I drifted into a restless sleep, but I woke up repeatedly, and when morning finally came, I felt exhausted. That night wasn't just uncomfortable, it made me realize something important. Stress doesn't vanish the moment you close your eyes. It lingers, affecting your body in ways you might not even notice at first. After that night, I decided I needed a new routine. I started spending the last hour before bed doing things that actually calmed my mind. Nothing complicated, just simple rituals. A short walk around the house, gentle stretches, or even listening to some soft music or calming nature sounds. Occasionally, I even tried a few minutes of guided meditation. It wasn't about completely erasing my worries. It was about putting them aside just enough to give my mind and body a chance to rest. And let me tell you, the difference was astonishing. Not only did I start falling asleep quicker, but the quality of my sleep improved dramatically. I woke up feeling refreshed, calm, and ready to tackle whatever the next day had in store. So here's my practical advice. Build your own calming bedtime routine. Spend 15 to 30 minutes every night doing something relaxing, light stretches, deep breathing, meditation, reading something pleasant, or even writing down things you're grateful for. The key is consistency. These small rituals signal your body that it's safe to rest, helping lower stress hormones and dramatically reducing your risk of heart-related problems. When you make this small change, you'll notice not just improved sleep, but a genuine boost to your emotional health and well-being. Believe me, your heart will thank you. If you found these tips valuable today, let me know by leaving a comment below. Maybe even share your own bedtime routine. And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got plenty more conversations like this to help you live healthier and happier. Now let's quickly recap the 5 bedtime habits we've talked about today, because each one matters more than you might realize. First, avoid eating heavy meals late at night to protect your heart and improve sleep. Second, keep your room comfortably cool to help your body rest deeply without stress. Third, never neglect oral hygiene before bedtime to safeguard your heart health. Fourth, talk to your doctor about the timing of your medications so you're safe and comfortable through the night. And finally, create a calming bedtime routine that reduces stress, anxiety, and ensures peaceful sleep. Remember, even small adjustments in these nightly routines can lead to significant improvements in your health, sleep quality, and overall happiness. So tell me, which habit are you planning to change first? Comment below. I read every single one. And if you've enjoyed today's conversation, please give this video a like and subscribe. Your support truly means the world and helps us build this wonderful community together. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.